Ben Wise here, and today I'm going to talk about our program, Gymnastics Density University. Just as it sounds, this is a more advanced version. So we have Gymnastics Density for the Big Five, which is one of our most popular 12-week programs on the website. And this is sort of a 2.0 of that, right? Which it may or may not be, right? So if you're someone who's a more advanced athlete, which this is written for a more advanced athlete, I'll go over the prerequisites here in a second. But you might just choose to do this without doing the first sort of iteration of gymnastics density. Or if you're someone who's gone through gymnastics density for the Big Five, you've really enjoyed it and you want something to kind of continue to push you and you want to sort of expand upon that a little bit more, Gymnastics Density University is a great option for that, provided that, again, that you actually have the prerequisites that you need to be able to do that. So let's get into those. So first of all, I will say that we're continuing to train the Big Five, but we're adding on to that. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the Big Five is muscle ups, both bar and ring, chest to bar, toes to bar, handstand push-ups, and handstand walks. So those are the Big Five. We're going to add on to that rope climbs. We're going to add on to that wall walk and GHD as well. So we're going to be hitting all of those. And then in terms of the minimum metrics that I actually want you to be able to hit, so in other words, please don't buy this program if you don't have these numbers, because otherwise these will be advanced past what you're capable of handling and just overall not ideal training for you. But if you have these numbers, this is going to be a very great program to actually help you elicit the gymnastics density adaptations that you want. So let's get into these numbers. 10 bar muscle ups. So that means 10 consecutive unbroken bar muscle ups. Same thing, 10 ring muscle ups, 20 chest to bar, 20 toes to bar. Again, these are unbroken numbers. A single legless rope climb, right? So I'm not giving a ton of legless rope climbs in this program, but I do prescribe them. So it's important that you can at least do one. And that also includes, obviously, that you can actually do regular rope climbs. It's assumed at that point. Strict handstand push-ups, 12 unbroken, and then a handstand walk. I want you to be able to consistently hit a 25-foot section, and ideally under some amount of fatigue, right? You don't have to be super bulletproof in that in terms of never making a mistake, but again, it shouldn't be an uncommon day for you to kick up and hit a 25-foot handstand walk. So if you have those metrics, again, this is going to be a very appropriate program for you, and it's definitely going to push you. So some of the proxies that we're using for success. So the actual testing that we're going to be doing as a pre and post test. This isn't what the bulk of what the actual training is going to look like. I'm going to go over 2 sample sessions here in a second. But these are, again, the proxies for how we're measuring development. The first is a toe to bar rep max, which is part 1 of that test. And then as soon as you drop down from your rep max, so you maxed out and you did 29, 30, you hit 31, and then you tried to hit 32, you failed, you fall down off the bar, and it was, a minute and 48 seconds. At a minute and 48 seconds, you start your rep max for time. So in other words, you are now doing 31 reps for time. So now you have to chip away doing small sets until you get back to 31, and then you calculate that, whatever time you finished, from that 148, you subtract the minute 48 seconds off that, and that was your part 2 time, right? So that's one test. We're doing 30 ring muscle ups for time, but the little caveat here is that you have to start that test with the biggest unbroken set of ring muscle ups that you can. So you start with a rep max, you rep max at 13, you come down, you couldn't do another rep. Now you have to chip away again until you get to 30, right? 50 strict handstand push-ups for time, and those have to be in sets of 5, and 100 chest to bar for time, and those have to be in sets of 5. So those are our tests that we're doing. There's also equipment lists that I'll break out every single thing that I actually use in this, if that's something that, if you're doing this at a home gym and not a fully equipped affiliate, I'll link to that as well, but I'm not going to go over that in detail now. So let's go over 2 sample sessions here. The first one is week 4, session 3. This is a more pool focused session. However, it's certainly mixed, and it's not like, session 1 is every time that you're doing some sort of pulling gymnastics, or session 2 every time that you're doing handstand walks. It's not that way, where the original gymnastics density program, the gymnastics density for the Big Five, that's how it was written. It was written where it was kind of like muscle ups on day 1, sort of pressing and midline work like handstand push-ups, handstand walks on day 2, and pulling like toes to bar, chest to bar on day 3. That's not how it is. This is much more dynamic. It's much less a-linear, where it's not like building week after week. Obviously, there's some sort of progression, but it's much more undulating, and frankly, it won't be straightforward when you're looking at it, right? This is much more, it mimics the sport a lot more, where there's a lot more moving pieces and it's a lot more dynamic. So that being said, let's get into our first sample session, week 4, session 3. So there's a warm-up. I'm not going to go over the warm-up. I just want to go over sort of the bulk, the meat of what's actually in the workout for the day. And there's also some accessory work afterwards. I'm not going to go over that either. All right, so just the main section of what's going on here. First, it's 4 time. This is 14 and 14, 12 and 12, 10 and 10 of chest bar pull-ups and box jump overs. All right, so again, one of the things that's featured in this program is that it's not just those movements, right? It's not just EMOMs of the movements, right? It's getting you better at CrossFit. That's the idea, and that gymnastics density is going to be incorporated throughout that. So 14, 14, 12, 12, 10, 10, chest to bar box jump over. You'll rest 1 to 1. So if it took you 4 minutes and 13 seconds, you'll rest 4 minutes and 13 seconds, and you'll start up with 14, 14, 12, 12, 10, 10. So same rep scheme of chest to bar pull-ups again, and now burpees to a 6-inch target. You'll rest 1 to 1 once again, and again, same rep scheme, 14, 14, 12, 12, 10, 10 of once again chest to bar pull-ups and a dumbbell hang clean and jerk with 50 or 35 pounds for males and females respectively. So again, from hang up over your head with a single dumbbell, again, same rep scheme as before. So that's our first sample session. Obviously very chest bar focused on that one. And again, each of these workouts is going to be completely unique. If we go down to week 6, session 3, again, there's a warm up build out. Again, there's some mobility and a flush after the actual session, but the bulk of the session is 5-minute AMRAP of 1 legless rope climb and then a 2 by 25 foot handstand walk after each of those. So 5 minutes, 1 legless rope climb, 50-foot handstand walk in 2 lengths. You'll rest 3 minutes. You have another 5-minute AMRAP. 2 rope climbs, just a standard rope climb, and then again that 2 by 25-foot handstand walk. And now you'll rest 3 minutes again, and you have a last 5-minute AMRAP of 10 GHD sit-ups, and then a 2 by 25-foot handstand walk. So this one, obviously it's very heavy towards the handstand walking, and then there's also some pulling gymnastics and midline work as well, right? Your legless rope climbs is obviously working your pull, your rope climbs, same deal, but it's also getting your hips, which then translates into the GHD. So it kind of builds in that way, which is all going to tax your midline for the handstand walk as well. So these are sort of the more creative sort of, a-linear progression that we're going through for this program. If this is interesting to you and you want more of it, be sure to purchase Gymnastics Density University.